Hello and welcome to our 5th installment of Honey Talks. I am the publisher and founder of Honeysuckle and Honey Pot magazines, and today we speak with David Bronner, the Cosmic Engagement Officer of Dr. Bronner's. Dr. Bronner's is kind of the poster child for everything good in the corporate world. I know that good and corporate are not synonymous for the most part, but at Dr. Bronner's they truly are. They provide vegan options for their employees. They have closed the pay gap so that the highest paid employees cannot make over a certain amount than the lowest paid. Dr. Bronner's has donated funds to animal welfare. He's backed the regenerative movement for a long time. And most recently, they pledged $1 million to the psilocybin therapy and drug reform act in Oregon. He wants to make plant medicine available to addicts and also just as use as part of therapy for depression and anxiety. And he really wants to see legal and be promoted as medicine in our country. First, we just wanted to ask about how you're doing with the virus and how that's affecting just overall business.
I don't know. It's never been busier. It's just we've got business is really busy, and then the campaigns we're involved in, the psilocybin therapy campaign in Oregon, the Beat from Nature campaign in DC. It's just a real challenge right now with COVID and not being able to gather signatures on the street. So we're having to pivot to try to get the signatures you need to qualify through mail and online efforts. And
why Oregon in particular? Are they just really advanced in terms of therapy and research?
Yeah, they had a homegrown effort there that Thomas Schreckert, or the chief petitioners, husband-wife therapist team, that had the idea that to take the rigor of the studies coming out of Hopkins and NYU and UCLA, and basically have a model that replicates that therapeutic container. I think that's the way that you can really reach people and help people, and it can be a real opportunity to break through and set the example and blaze the path for the rest of the country. Now, Oregon also has, side by side with it, a broad-based decriminalization, Portugal-style, decriminalizing all drugs, and any mass incarceration and the systemic racism of the drug war that targets people of color. America has 4% of the world's population and 22% of the world's prison population. The drug war has always been, in many ways, a proxy to go after people of color. There's a book called The New Jim Crow that's really good. It talks about slavery, institutional slavery, more, where you get Thomas Jefferson not blinking an eye, saying all men are created equal, but, being a slaveholder himself. And just a deep systemic racism in our founding that then translated into Jim Crow after the Civil War. So after we ended the institution of slavery, then we had a new system of racial control. And then once that ended, that's when you saw the rise of mass incarceration in the drug war. So once you couldn't have systemic, segregation, this kind of new form of racial control emerged in society. And all this is like somewhat unconscious. It's like, how does this happen? And when we're supposed to be officially colorblind, but nonetheless, it's exactly what we're doing. So ending the drug war is or getting addicts the treatment they need without further ruining their lives. Being an addict is not it's not a crime, it's a health problem. And once you get a record, a felon record, you're a second-class citizen, you're just discriminated against. And something like a third of black males, at some point, end up in the system. Anyways, it just needs to end. And of course, what's like the best treatment for addiction is psilocybin therapy. So psilocybin therapy is being shown to be really good for alcoholism, smoking cessation. There's one for cocaine addiction. And some of the earliest studies back in the 60s showed how good like LSD therapy was for alcoholism. And in fact, Bill Wilson, who founded AA, was a huge proponent of LSD therapy. So I'm really excited in Oregon that you have both like a treatment, not jail effort to kind of end mass incarceration and expand treatment services and social services. And then we're legalizing psilocybin therapy at the same time. So it's kind of a perfect 1-2 punch.
Do you feel we're on a precipice of either going up or down as a race? And if so, what are the chances of going up versus down?
Yeah. Yeah, I think definitely we're getting to some inflection points. I'm, I guess, cautiously optimistic. I'm not, that integrating all of our medicines as fast as possible over the next 5 years and psychedelically healing and opening up the global citizenry by end of the decade will hopefully, along with just a lot of the other social and environmental movements, um, get the collective behavior change and policies in place that could give us a shot of, really decarbonizing the economy and moving agriculture to a regenerative basis. Um, and stop, trying to get us off this track of going off the climate change cliff. I mean, and social. I mean, we need to solve the income inequality in this country and around the world. Um, so hopefully, with a new president, and I don't know.
Yeah, but which one?
Yeah, well, this at least not the current one.
You study biology at Harvard.
Yeah. Well, I didn't do that much studying, but yeah.
Tell us a little what's going on the regenerative side. You've been a huge proponent and enabler of regenerative ag.
We're partnered with Patagonia and some leading soil health organizations and animal welfare organizations and fair labor organizations on what's called the Regenerative Organic Standard. So if you go to regenorganic.org, so they're web-based home, but the standard, we just completed a pilot and we had like 30 different farms and brands in it. So we should be launching this summer and launching the program and making it widely available.
Wow.
So you'll start to see regenerative organic certified products on the shelves. And then we've got the Sun and Earth certification in the cannabis space because the term organic is federally regulated. And because of federal prohibition, cannabis farmers can't access the organic program. So we've got the Sun and Earth program to basically give cannabis farmers a third-party consumer-facing seal that cannabis consumers can look for to know that their medicine was grown outdoors in the soil under the sun, no chemicals, fair labor. We've got the Brother David's not-for-profit. So separate from Bronner's is a personal effort along with a couple other people to make a nonprofit brand platform to educate bud tenders and just cannabis consumers about Sun and Earth. I think it'll be a good decade for regenerative organic agriculture and psychedelic medicine.